welcome to the deep dive. Let's jump right into a thought that might really challenge you.
Okay.
What if the most powerful ways to help kids with mental health challenges aren't, found in complicated prescriptions, but in the rhythm of everyday life? What if things as simple as the food on their plate, or how they move, or even how they spend their free time are actually potent medicine for young minds?
Yeah, that's a powerful idea.
And here's something unsettling our sources revealed. What we're doing with certain foods in this country is so potentially harmful. Well, it's been compared to an act so serious, another country doing it to us could be grounds for war.
Wow. That comparison really grabs you, doesn't it?
It really does. Think about that. It makes you wonder, what incredibly simple shifts could truly change everything?
Yeah. So in this deep dive, we're pulling from source material that outlines, incredibly practical, surprisingly straightforward ways parents and kids can build mental well-being. Focusing on nutrition, targeted brain support, and just essential lifestyle habits.
Okay. So our mission today is to be your guides, right? We've gone through the information, and we're here to highlight the absolute must-know nuggets.
Yeah, the insights that truly matter, and show you how this knowledge can be put to work right now.
So where do we start? The sources seem pretty clear.
They are. If you're looking for a root cause, the first place to look is often diet. Parents are the champion for their child,
Right.
And the focus should really be on addressing why a child is struggling, not just sort of managing symptoms with a quick fix pill.
And food is absolutely fundamental to that. But here's a crucial point the sources emphasize, and it can be tough to hear. Kids aren't going to eat healthier than you do, period.
That's a hard truth. The home environment itself needs to be a place that supports health.
So that means not having what one source called self-destructive foods constantly available.
Exactly. We're talking things like soda, most processed junk food, candy, pretzels, bagels, white bread, the usual suspects.
It's about shaping that environment.
It really is. Now, digging into the sources, let's get specific about some major dietary red flags. High fructose corn syrup, HFCS, comes up repeatedly.
As far more dangerous than regular sugar.
Yeah, that's what the sources suggest. And this is where that striking war comparison comes in.
Okay, explain that. Why the intense comparison?
Well, our sources note that the U.S. uses HFCS in foods and drinks at levels and in ways that are vastly different from other developed countries.
Like the Coke example. Mexican Coke uses cane sugar.
But in the U.S., it's HFCS.
Right.
It's cheaper, yes, but the sources highlight it's also engineered to be more addictive.
More addictive.
And here's a key difference in how our bodies handle it. HFCS is processed almost exclusively by the liver.
Okay.
Which rapidly converts it into fat. This is far more likely to drive up your risk of things like type 2 diabetes and obesity compared to how your body processes other sugars.
So it's a distinct metabolic hazard.
That's the takeaway. And don't think diet soda gets you off the hook either.
The artificial sweeteners.
Even without calories, they can still mess with insulin response. Now, insulin is the hormone your body uses to manage blood sugar.
And when that gets out of whack,
it has ripple effects. There was a major study in France looking at over 100,000 people for 9 years. It found those consuming artificial sweeteners had a significantly increased risk of type 2 diabetes, around 69% higher.
69%. Wow, that's a huge flag saying these aren't benign.
Not at all. A risk to avoid.
Okay, what about fruit juice? Sounds healthy, right? Apple juice, orange juice.
Our sources say not so fast.
Yeah.
Juice is essentially the liquid sugar of the fruit.
But crucially, without the fiber.
Exactly. And why does fiber matter? Think of it like a speed bump for sugar absorption.
Right, it slows things down.
Fiber slows down how quickly your body absorbs sugar, preventing those dramatic blood sugar spikes and crashes that can really affect mood and energy.
So the simple swap is just eat the fruit.
Eat the whole fruit instead. And for drinks, water is your best friend. If you want to make water fun, maybe some soda water with a little juice powder from something healthy like blueberries or beets.
Good idea. Beyond specific ingredients, the sources really hammer home the problem of ultra-processed foods.
Yeah. These foods are designed to be hyper-palatable, to make you want more and more, and they do a number on the gut-brain connection.
Let's unpack that gut-brain connection simply.
Okay, so your gut is lined with trillions of microbes, right? And they produce chemicals and signals that talk directly to your brain.
Like a second brain, almost.
In a way, yeah. Processed foods feed the wrong kind of microbes and disrupt this communication.
Okay, and that disruption.
Along with the rapid sugar spikes these foods cause, it messes with hormones and neurotransmitters, the brain chemicals that control mood and feelings.
Is that why kids, or adults too, get instantly cranky, aggressive, or just generally off after loading up on sugary processed junk?
That's the gut-brain hormone link in action.
Exactly. One source shared a really telling example.
The Skittles one.
Yeah. When kids heard that certain sugary candies might be restricted, their reaction, I need my Skittles, it sounded an awful lot like someone needing a drug.
Yeah, the sources point out that these foods are deliberately engineered to be addictive. They can literally change how your brain works, impacting emotions and behavior.
It's a heavy thought, but the implication is clear. We might be unknowingly harming ourselves, one processed snack at a time.
It's like, are we poisoning ourselves without realizing it?
So where do you even start with changing diet? It sounds overwhelming.
The sources wisely suggest going for the low-hanging fruit, the easiest wins that can make a big difference quickly.
Like what?
First, focusing on eating organic foods whenever possible.
Why organic? Is it just about pesticides?
Primarily, yes, to drastically reduce exposure to pesticides, but also artificial food colorings.
The dyes.
Getting rid of artificial colors and flavors alone can be transformative for some kids. The sources shared a powerful story.
The one about the boy with aggression.
Yes. Severe attention, behavior, aggression issues. After just 1 week of removing artificial dyes from his diet, his behavior calmed so significantly. His mother said he went from not letting her touch him to asking for hugs.
1 week. Just from removing dyes. That's dramatic.
Incredible, right? And studies back this up. Removing dyes can improve attention and focus concerns in a significant portion of kids, potentially as many as 1 in 3.
1 in 3 kids seeing improvement just by cutting out artificial colors.
Wow. So what other simple actions?
Hydration. Water is king. Avoid soda, sugary juices.
And you mentioned cow's milk earlier.
Yeah, for some kids, it can cause brain inflammation that contributes to anxiety and depression. Not all, but something to be aware of.
Okay. The big picture dietary shift then is towards
whole foods organic diet. Making sure kids get enough protein. It's essential for building brain chemicals.
and meal times.
Make them a calm family ritual. The shared connection is good medicine too.
I like the analogy one source used. Your body is a high-performance car. Right. You wouldn't put sludge in a Ferrari. High-performing fuel for your body means prioritizing nutrient-dense foods.
Like greens, colorful vegetables, fruits, organic sources.
Exactly. What goes in directly impacts performance, mental and physical.
Plate composition matters too, right? What should a plate look like?
Aim for half the plate to be green vegetables. Then add protein and maybe some fruit.
And portion size.
Keep plates reasonably sized. The sources mention seeing giant plates in Texas, enough for several people.
So maybe use smaller plates.
Or encourage sharing. Avoid overfeeding. Overfeeding is highlighted as a major driver of obesity because the body just doesn't know what to do with that excess energy other than store it.
Makes sense. What about eating a rainbow? I hear that a lot.
It's not just pretty, it's functional. Different colors in whole plant foods, think blueberries, squash, beets, provide different beneficial compounds.
Phytonutrients, vitamins.
Right. Think of these as the essential building blocks and helpers your brain needs for everything from clearing out toxins to ensuring good blood flow and building those neurotransmitters.
So teaching kids, especially teens, to read labels is important, to be gut heroes.
Definitely. Limit added sugar. The sources say no more than 25 grams per day, which is only about 6 teaspoons.
That's not much at all.
No. And learn to spot microbiome mischief makers, artificial additives, dyes, chemicals. A good rule of thumb. If you can't pronounce it or have to Google it, maybe skip it.
And those artificial dyes again. Called poison for kids' brains by the sources.
Yeah, it's strong language, but reflects the concern.
And please, don't fear healthy fats. That's a big one.
So important. Your brain is about 60% cholesterol. Low-fat diets, especially for growing kids, are counterproductive.
And nutrient deficiencies are common.
Yes. The sources note that kids struggling with mental health often have common ones. Omega-3s, vitamin D, zinc, magnesium, and iron.
Where can you find these? Quick rundown.
Zinc is in pumpkin seeds, legumes. Magnesium and iron in dark leafy greens like spinach. Vitamin D, primarily from sunshine.
And omega-3s.
Plant-based sources like flax or chia are good, but the sources note they aren't converted as efficiently as those from fatty fish. So you need to be intentional, maybe through diet or a supplement under guidance.
Making healthy food fun seems essential, though. Otherwise, kids rebel.
Absolutely. The sources suggest the problem isn't wanting fun food, but only associating fun with fake processed food.
So find healthy swaps.
Yes. Find healthy, organic versions of treats kids love: ice cream, Turkish delights, or get creative making homemade swaps, like cheesecake sweetened with maple sugar instead of HFCS.
Making it a family adventure, not a restriction.
Exactly. A family endeavor where everyone supports each other. Meal prepping can really help make this sustainable, too.
How so? Reduces stress.
Yeah, reduces stress.
Yeah.
Start simple. Use things kids already like and make healthy swaps, like using lentil pasta with hidden pureed veggies in the sauce. And having prepped, healthy options gives kids autonomy to choose good food themselves. Builds those habits.
The sources do touch briefly on the bigger picture, the food system itself being broken.
Yeah, they mention policies contributing to unhealthy habits, like subsidies for crops that end up in processed foods, or labeling issues compared to other countries with clearer systems.
Like radial green lights on packages.
Right. The point made is that we sort of subsidize the sickness and then pay for the diseases later. It's complex, but the focus here is on what families can control directly.
Okay, moving beyond food. The sources introduce amino acids as another fascinating tool.
Yes. These are simple compounds, the building blocks for important brain chemicals. And here's the exciting part.
They work fast.
They can help calm the nervous system quickly, often within minutes, especially the sublingual, under the tongue, or chewable forms.
Wow. How do they work?
They're used to make calming neurotransmitters like GABA and serotonin. Taking them as supplements can help raise levels when they're low.
There was a really powerful case study mentioned.
The anxious girl, yeah, severe anxiety, anger, intense carb cravings. She wouldn't even face a practitioner at first.
Turned her chair away.
Exactly. She was given a chewable tryptophan, an amino acid. Took it, still facing away. But just 2 minutes later.
2 minutes.
She turned back, smiled, and said, "I think I can give up candy now."
That's incredible. 2 minutes. It shows how quickly these targeted nutrients can work.
Providing immediate relief and hope, right? Even when the child isn't expecting it.
And they can help break that cycle of craving unhealthy carbs or sugar, that self-medicating pattern.
Yes. By addressing a potential underlying deficiency, it just makes it easier for the child to make better choices. No willpower needed from them, no forcing from the parent.
Are there specific amino acids for different things?
The sources mention a few patterns. Tryptophan is often linked to issues like anger, anxiety, insomnia, and those strong carb cravings.
Okay.
GABA is more associated with physical tension, pain, and craving carbs, specifically when stressed.
So they can both look like anxiety, but the clues might be different.
Exactly. Trying one carefully can sometimes reveal the specific deficiency. The sources mention a low dose, like 125 millirms of sublingual GABA, often works rapidly for that tension and physical anxiety.
Any others mentioned for quick help?
Glycine was noted for calming effects within 15-20 minutes, and lithium orotate, a mineral form, not the drug, that some find helps reduce stress and brighten mood within a week or two.
But these aren't magic bullets on their own, right?
Crucially, no. While they can provide amazing fast relief and offer parents immediate hope, amino acids are most effective when used alongside those bigger diet and lifestyle changes.
So they support the body while you build the foundation.
Exactly. They help correct imbalances while you're doing the foundational work.
Is there a safety concern, especially with medications?
Yes, a necessary word of caution from the sources. While individual amino acids generally have a much better safety profile than many psychiatric meds, it is absolutely important to work with a qualified practitioner.
Especially if a child is already on antidepressants.
Yes. Using tryptophan, or 5-HTP, too close to certain medications could potentially increase the risk of serotonin syndrome.
Which is serious.
Very serious. Too much serotonin. Ideally, they should be used at least 6 hours apart from those meds.
Can they help with getting off medication?
The sources suggest they can sometimes help support the tapering process, but this must always be done very slowly and under the strict supervision of the prescribing doctor. Never alone.
Got it. Okay, moving on from foods and supplements, our sources describe lifestyle actions as another form of potent medicine.
Right, things like mindfulness.
Which is just about being present in the moment.
Basically, yeah. And again, parents are the key role models. It doesn't have to be formal meditation. Simple things count.
Like focusing on eating together without phones.
Exactly. Or just noticing the feeling of water when washing hands. Small moments of presence.
Nature exposure is another big one. Vitamin N.
Hugely effective and often free. The sources cite that study. Just 20 minutes once a week in an urban natural setting significantly lowered stress hormone levels.
Lowered cortisol? The stress hormone? That's a big win.
It really is. And it's enjoyable. Finding ways to be in nature, even just local parks, is encouraged. Kids in blue zones spend tons of time outdoors.
Getting sunlight, touching grass, even dirt.
Yes. The sources link this to studies showing farm kids have fewer allergies and autoimmune issues, possibly from beneficial soil microbes. Some people find profound healing just by moving to more natural environments.
Simple breathing techniques, too.
Powerful tool. Slow, deep breaths calm the nervous system, activate that rest and relaxation mode. Teaching kids a simple inhale, exhale gives them a tool they can use anywhere.
And movement. Exercise is medicine.
Therapeutic medicine. The sources state it unequivocally. Exercise often outperforms medications in studies for depression and anxiety.
It's absurd we don't prescribe it more.
That's the quote. Movement helps detoxify through sweat, supports healthy blood flow, gets oxygen to the brain.
And we move so little now. Teens spending 7 to 9 hours on screens.
It's a huge shift. Our bodies were built to move like people in blue zones who move naturally all day.
And movement is crucial early on, too.
Absolutely. During pregnancy and early childhood, it helps nerves connect correctly and ensures the developing brain gets enough oxygen. CDC says kids need an hour of moderate to vigorous exercise daily.
Fascinating stuff about actively training the brain, too. Neuroplasticity.
Yeah, the brain's ability to rewire itself. It's especially potent in kids because their brains are developing so rapidly. Simple exercises can encourage this.
Like the eye movements, saccades.
Right. Quick eye movements, looking back and forth between 2 points, helps stimulate the frontal lobe conscious thought interaction.
And pursuit, following an object smoothly.
That helps the parietal lobe body awareness, stability. Balancing and eye-hand coordination exercises also help different brain areas work together.
And simple ways to calm the brain using nerves.
Yeah, gently brushing the cheekbone or jawline stimulates the trigeminal nerve, very calming. Or gentle puffs of air or acupressure near the ear for the vestibular cochlear nerve. Simple physical inputs can soothe the system.
This point really stood out to me. The importance of creativity and boredom.
Yes. Kids' brains today are often constantly stimulated, especially digitally. Creativity is vital for neuroplasticity, building new pathways.
But creativity needs space. It needs boredom.
Exactly. Allowing children to be bored helps them tap into their inner world, express themselves creatively, become less reliant on external stimulation. That space is crucial for new brain connections.
The light environment is another simple, often free, powerful lever.
Huge impact, particularly on sleep, which massively affects mental health.
So natural daylight during the day.
And minimizing artificial light, especially blue light, after sunset, sends critical signals to your body, regulates your internal clock, helps melatonin production for sleep.
What's the practical tip?
Use bright daylight bulbs during the day. After sunset, switch to amber or red lamps, ideally at eye level or below, mimicking campfire or sunset. Studies show changing light can shift hormones like cortisol.
And the idea that humans are nutrients.
Profound, right. The lack of in-person community is a huge problem despite technology. Real connection is vital for kids' well-being.
We might need to actively build that community now.
Often, yes. It's not always automatic anymore. The sources suggest fixing light and ensuring enough human nutrients makes other health efforts, like diet, more effective.
Lastly, a natural remedies kit.
Yeah, having things on hand for common childhood illnesses, cold, stomach bugs, supporting the immune system naturally with things like ginger for tummy aches, instead of always jumping to medication that just overrides symptoms.
Okay, bringing all this together. It really underscores the power of these seemingly simple actions.
It does. Our sources reference those 6 key tips from Abdullah, the young person.
Right. Good food, especially veggies and fruits, plenty of water, enough sleep at least 8 hours, and staying up all night doesn't help. Time in nature, managing stress like daily gratitude.
Which science strongly supports.
And realizing it's often these simple fundamental things, not drugs, that provide the most lasting health.
And Abdullah's personal story was great. Choosing healthy food even when friends didn't, feeling awkward at first.
But then realizing it made him feel stronger, better, more himself, embracing it.
That confidence is key. And his wisdom, these simple practices, they echo the blue zones, right?
Exactly. Those places where people live exceptionally long, healthy, happier lives. Their secrets are these same things built into their daily rhythm.
Lots of natural, fresh, plant-based food, constant natural movement, low stress, strong social connections, community being raised by a tribe.
It contrasts so sharply with what the sources call an American kids deficit disorder.
Lack of play, lack of real connection, too much screen time, processed food. The Blue Zone example shows the power of getting back to fundamentals.
Ultimately, the sources make it clear that creating a healthy foundation for kids doesn't have to be complicated. These simple changes are within reach.
They build health for the future. Remember, your brain health is your mental health.
And you have real agency over the building blocks, the food, and the signals, the lifestyle inputs that shape your brain.
And therefore your mood, your resilience, your capacity to thrive.
Our next deep dive is going to explore innovative treatments and therapies that can work alongside this healthy lifestyle.
Looking at both age-old methods and exciting new tools should be fascinating.
Definitely. But for now, here's a thought to leave you with. How might these seemingly small everyday choices about what we eat, how we move, light exposure, even allowing boredom or seeking real connection,
how might these be far more powerful in shaping our mood, resilience, and ability to thrive than we've ever really considered?
What stands out to you the most from this deep dive?
We'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Please share them in the comments section below.